What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be breaking down Mourinho's 4-2-3-1 that he used at Real Madrid. I was going to say Roma then, but it's been highly requested pretty much along the 3-4 past videos. I want to quickly say right now that we are also working on a ton of other tactics, including Bielsa, a Van Gaal tactic, and also some other tactics which are going to be a little secret, but there are a lot of tactics going to be coming out. But for now, we're going to break down this amazing 4-2-3-1. So, today we are going to be testing with 4 teams, and we have gone with 4 very different teams, all different leagues. Obviously, one of them is going to be Real Madrid because it keeps in theme of the video, but I did want to test with slightly different standards of teams, some underdogs, some teams that are dominant just with slightly less standard of players, to get a real good sort of look into what this tactic can do and exactly what you can expect to expect from the tactic, basically, with the current side that you're managing. Now, if you guys do enjoy these tactic videos, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. It's completely free and helps the channel grow massively. If you also want to stay in touch with me more, you can follow my social medias, which can be found in the description of this video, and I post a lot on there, so that's always a good thing to do. But anyway, let's get into the testing. The first team is going to be Nottingham Forest. Now, I chose these because, one, it's always a suggestion on the videos. Make sure you use underdog teams, weak teams in the Prem. It's the hardest league in the world. Test with a team that's not, the best in that division. And that's exactly what we've done. And I've kept it a surprise because I am shocked with exactly how well this tactic has done. And that is because we have finished in 2nd place. Now, I'm going to go over some of the results in these games because I think the Prem had maybe a little bit of an off-season or something, because we didn't win every single game or anything ridiculous like that. It was just a very weird sort of league, obviously, season, sorry. As you can see here, you've got Liverpool winning it, City in 3rd, United, Chelsea and Tottenham, even Arsenal having quite not off seasons for Chelsea necessarily, or Tottenham, but Arsenal definitely having an off season there. The star man here, by the way, 43 goals from him, a really good prospect. Jesse Lingard even performing really well, which is good to see. 115 goals scored and 53 conceded. But we go into the schedule, and I want to show you this right away. It's probably the only schedule we're going to look at. But as you can see, it wasn't all like flawless wins. There were a few losses in here, mixed in, but it just really did grind out the results that were required to obviously finish in that position. And fair play, because at the end of the day, finishing like that with a team like Nottingham Forest is a massive accomplishment. And if we go into the data hub quickly, as we will, go into general performance, 3 goals a game and 1.39 conceded. So very impressed with that, considering Nottingham Forest are definitely favoured towards the lower end of the table. To be finishing in 2nd in one season is absolutely nuts. And I'm going to be honest, if we look at the squad, in my personal opinion, we actually have got some good players. It's like this guy here is definitely not a 2-star ability. I mean, he's actually a really good player. I think there's a lot of players like that in this game where I genuinely think that the star ability does not do him justice. Obviously, as you can see here, it does come down, I believe, to the assistant. I think it's the assistant manager's opinion. So it's not 100% accurate, I don't believe, but let me know about any of your gems that you've found which have got not the highest star ability in terms of rating, but perform really well. Another one for me this game is actually going to be Belotti. Not very highly rated at all, but he's really, really good in the game. But as you can see here, 43 goals, Lingard 34 goals, 16 assists. Dennis coming in, obviously a good player, 25 goals, 19 assists. Morgan Gibbs-White, 12 goals and 16 assists. Even Brennan Johnson, 10 goals and 18 assists. So a ton of people getting involved with the goals, and that's exactly what we want to be seeing. But a real standout season there for Lingard as well, which is really good to be seeing. We then go over to a slightly different one, and obviously this is a team which should be dominating this division. I say dominating along with Rangers, but I was very confident because obviously Celtic are a very strong team in this Scottish division, and we done exactly what I thought we were going to do, scoring an outrageous amount of goals, 169, only 24 conceded as well, winning the Scottish Premiership, the Cup, and the Premier Sports Cup. And this guy here, by the way, what a star he is, 70 goals, José with most assists, assists and the highest match rating. That's going to be Cameron Carter-Vickers with a 93% pass completion. Now, I was somewhat expecting this to be a bit of a destruction because the tactic is absolutely off the scale. It is ridiculous. And also, obviously, Celtic are one of the favourites, but we just tested with Nottingham Forest, so we're definitely not using all of the strong teams. In terms of the data hub, we'll look at that quickly. We're scoring over 4.4 goals a game, 4.45 goals per game, and only conceding 0.63. So this is what you can expect if you are one of the better teams in the division. You can really run away with a tactic like this. The 4-2-3-1 is commonly used anyway, but every 4-2-3-1's different. So this one obviously is about the counter-attacking. That is Mourinho's style. And one thing I noticed about this tactic, which it does it so well, is absorbing pressure, soaking it up, counter-attacking and getting goals, and that's exactly what we've done across every single save that we managed. In terms of the squad, we're going to go in terms of goals again. I was expecting more goals in this one because obviously, you know, we are the best team in the division and we have got really good attacking players in my opinion. The star man was 70, 53 for Jota, who's actually got a bit of potential about him, 36 for Turnbull, 27 coming in for Abadar, Juranovic coming in with 14. In terms of assists, we've got some good assisters in the team. José with 37, we've got Abadada coming in with 28, 24 coming in for Turnbull, and still some really high assisters all the way down to this mark here. So a lot of people do get involved with the goals in this tactic. That is something you can expect. Creations, you know, chances created all over the pitch, every single position will get involved. And the beautiful thing about it is that if you're managing this, you know, the games yourself, which obviously I expect you would be, you can sort of tweak it as you go. So if you go into a game where, you know, you want to really hammer a team, get your goals up and up, you could possibly look to go more attacking. So you could even push past the limits, which I've got from a pure simulation season, which is scary because if we were going to change to go into some of these games, I reckon we could have probably got to like 200 goals a season. We then go in with another team which is predicted to finish around sort of 10th, I believe 9th, 10th in the French league, and that is going to be Lens. Now, we did struggle a little bit with them, but as promised, I always do include every single test that we do, whether that ends up being a fail, whether that ends up being a success, and this one, in my opinion, is still a success, because top four with this side is actually quite good. Their players aren't, in my opinion, the best. Again, I don't want to offend anyone, but it just seems like they don't really have that standout attacking player in my opinion, and they just didn't really get anything going. As you can see here, it's going to be 3 players, actually, only 2 players, sorry, I thought there's 3 there. This guy's just got a very long name. 2 players getting joint top goal scorer with 17, which is obviously a lot lower than what we have been seeing. As you can see, the goals scored, I don't know if that's an insult to the Scottish division to say how easy that division actually is as one of the top teams, but still, it's a decent season. It's not one of the best. It's not the best one we've had by a long shot, but it did overachieve, technically you could say, because they are predicted to finish 9th to 10th, and we've come in and finished 3rd, which is, you know, Champions League football, which is a good accomplishment anyway. But if we go into the data hub quickly, it is a bit more closer. Just over 2 goals a game, just under a goal conceded a game. So if you say that alone, it's very good. But obviously, with the other tests, it was a lot more dominant, you know, goals per game. But still, I would take this if I was playing it as a save with a side like Rennes. At the end of the day, you know they're not one of the best teams. Or I said Rennes, didn't I? Lens. So at the end of the day, I would say this season I'm going to put down as average, in my opinion. The other 2 seasons so far have been absolutely exceptional, but I wasn't really going to click off. But we'll look at the player stats quickly. A lot lower scoring this time. That's just... And do you know what? It's really weird me saying that because they've actually got quite good ability on the players, but it's just weird to see, you know, some players I don't like using. I've tested with Lens before, and it's always a little bit of a tricky one. You can never top PSG because they are absolutely incredible. And it's just, you're always sort of fighting a losing battle. I would love to actually do a rebuild with these, because I do feel like there possibly is some form of talent in here. But there's actually a lot of potential as you can go down here. I feel quite stupid now saying they've got a bad team. They probably haven't got a bad team. It's just whenever I seem to simulate, I just can't really get the results with them. But we'll take it nevertheless, 3rd place finish, and we'll move on. And the last test is going to be with, well, I was going to say Mourinho's current side then. The current side that we're going to base it around is going to be Real Madrid. Obviously, the team that inspired this tactic, Mourinho's Real Madrid. I nearly slipped up again. Obviously, the team looks a lot different now. For You know, the fact of when Mourinho was there, obviously you had the likes of Di Maria, Ronaldo, I believe even Arbeloa was still knocking about then. Ramos, it was a really, really good team. The list could go on, but we still put up a very dominant display with the current team they've got. 155 goals, 154 goals scored, 27 conceded. Very good with discipline as well. I know my webcam will be blocking this up. We actually got 0 red cards and only 27 yellows. Best in both categories. We won the quadruple, being the Super Cup, the Spanish Division, the Spanish Cup, and the Spanish Super Cup. Unfortunately, a very tough sort of leg in the game. In real life, I think Real Madrid would edge it because PSG sort of do bottle the Champions League, but they've got a very good team in the game, and unfortunately, we do go out to them quite early on, but overall, a very, very positive season. Karim Benzema with 50 goals, Vinicius Jr. with a 7.76 highest match rating with 32 assists, and Thibaut Courtois with a 95% pass completion. Now, if we go over to the data hub, we'll go to general performance. We're just sitting at over 4 goals a game for this one, 4.05, which is really, really good. And the conceded per game is even better. This tactic just really does do it all. I will keep saying this because it is just a fact. The 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 is by far the most sort of go-to formation this year, in my opinion. I know a few people that do like to roll out with 3 at the backs, but it is really nice playing with a 4-2-3-1 because you can make so many variations of a 4-2-3-1. So, for example, this one is naturally a little bit more defensive than you hit on the counter. You can have one that's purely about possession. You can have so many variations. It's what makes it so good, and it's just such a balanced tactic. It really is. But if we go into the squad stats, then obviously we know how good this team is. It's a really good side. 50 goals from Benzema, Eden Hazard with 36, Rodrigo with 27, Vinicius with 23, 17 for Asensio, Tchouaméni coming in with 11, Rudiger even popping up with 7. In terms of assists, we have got, let's go into it. We've got 32 assists coming in from Vinicius Jr., 30 coming in for Rodrigo, Modric with 18, 14 for Hazard, Valverde with 9, Tchouaméni, Toni Kroos with 9, 8 for Alaba, Benzema with 8, 7 for Asensio, Tchouaméni coming in with 6. Then it does drop off a little bit from there, but overall, a very, very positive season, I think. I don't think we can... The only disappointment, I guess, would be the Champions League, but Real Madrid are always, in my opinion, favoured to win that in real life, but in the game it is quite 50-50. I mean, they are a very good team in the game, but what we're going to do now is we're going to pick out a game from this save. We are going to do a Real Madrid game because that is the whole point of this video, and we're going to see some of these goals and exactly what you could expect to see. And we are going to watch a 4-0 win over Atletico Madrid, obviously a very good side in this division. And we come out and thump them 4-0, which is very impressive. Winning the back there in the centre of the park into Benzema, a beautiful overlap and run, looks for the ball over the top into Hazard, who tucks it into the bottom left-hand corner. And that's something we're so used to seeing with this tactic. There is a slight bit of pressing involved, and when you do win it back, everyone bolts forward to get involved on the counter-attack. As we win it back here from a very poor clearance, Alaba, look at people running in. I want you to watch this guy here. We've got Tchouaméni, obviously, in this position here, instantly darts up to get into the box to be an option, just finding himself in there. In the end of the day, he doesn't actually contribute too much, but it's the fact that he gets in there into the box. It just shows the amount of bodies that do get forward when you are on a break, and that's exactly what this tactic is about, as Rodrigo wins quite an unlikely header, I'd argue, to make it 2-0. We go again here. It's going to be Alaba down the left-hand side into Vinicius Jr. We're seeing some options in the box appear. He's found Eden Hazard, who goes, squares it into Benzema, and that is going to be 3-0. A very positive start, but that's not it. We've got one more goal to come. Camavinga into Asensio, back into Camavinga, into Vinicius Jr. A wonderful first-time pass, and it's a delicate chip into the far right corner, and that is a sensational goal, and that is going to be 4-0. Done and dusted. Quite an easy tie in the end against a very negative-looking Atletico Madrid side, but at the end of the day, we dominated we dominated the shots, dominated the XG, pretty much everything going, apart from the possession out of everything, so it was a very deserved win. So then, guys, we are now going to break down this amazing tactic. Before we do, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot, and, you know, it just helps the channel grow massively. And if you do want to comment, please do comment some tactics you want to see. Every single comment I respond to and is being worked on. Let's just obviously have to put it in priority of order, as in the first comment to the last, you know, or the last comment obviously becomes first, because that is the priority. That's when they've asked it for. But I do work on every single tactic, and I will always respond anyway. But let's break down this amazing Mourinho's Madrid 4-2-3-1. Now, It is a little bit different to some 4-2-3-1s in the sense that this is purely sort of based off a counter-attack and style, and that is something which works really well. But to make that work, we did actually have to go with an attacker mentality. Now, this is something I'm going to talk about right now. If you are going in against the top side, so for example, if I didn't simulate against PSG, I probably would have gone in with positive mentality instead of attacking right away, so you're not too on the front foot. But it just works really well majority of the time because you throw enough bodies forward for the counter. But attacking mentality in possession, you want fairly wide, pass into space, shorter, higher, run at defence and mixed crosses. In transition, you want regroup, counter when the possession has been won. Pretty common sense, that's the whole point about this tactic. Take short goal kicks and distribute to the centre-backs. Out of position, you want a standard defensive line and much more often trigger press, and that's going to be it. Now, if you are defending the game, a bit of advice would be, you could drop this line down to here. You could go much lower, but in my opinion, that just causes a lot more pressure on yourself. You could go down to lower and still play the same sort of counter-attack style. Possibly you could look to lower this a little bit as well and go like that. But overall, standard typically does work. But if you really are trying to hold on, you could lower to that and that would work perfectly fine. In terms of the player roles, we are going to start off with a defensive goalkeeper. No instructions at all because it doesn't really have too much to do apart from make saves in this team. The fullback on support is going to be pass it shorter, take more risks and dribble more. The ball-playing defender is on defend, take more risks and hold position, next to a central defender on shoot less often, dribble less and hold position. For some reason, if you guys have got two defenders that are more comfortable playing as ball-playing defenders, just don't have them too risky. Don't have two players that are too, vulnerable at the back, as in you let them go forward, you let them get involved, because like I said, this is set up to be quite a defensive sort of tactic. The left back is going to be a fullback on support, take more risks and dribble more. Two in midfield, you're going to have a box-to-box on the right on support, dribble more, get further forwards and roam from position, partner with a deep line playmaker on support, dribble less, shoot less often, take more risks and hold position. On the left-hand side, we've got an inside forward on attack, sit narrower, dribble more, cut inside with the ball, take more risks, cross less often and get further forwards. On the right-hand side, we've got a winger on attack, dribble more, run wide, cross more often, cross from the byline, get further forwards and stay wider. Now, the beauty of this is we've got two wide players that are doing two very, very different things. Obviously, we've got one that's going to look to be coming in and sitting narrower, and we've got one that's staying out wide and also running with the ball out wide. So one thing again which you could do, this would probably work better if you're playing against a mate in an online save, but you could switch these around, so completely flip it on its head and obviously make it quite unpredictable for the person you're playing. It should work against the AI, but AIs are relatively good at sort of adjusting to that type of stuff, but that's why it works so well. In the mid, we have got I'm going to butcher this, I believe, but a Tragasta, I think that's how you say that. That's the one role in this team which I don't think you can change. This sums up how it would be played in his system. So this is the one area I wouldn't look to change at all. We have him on attack, dribble more, take more risks, move into channels, run from position and ease off tackles. And then we have, this one is debatable and is a very up for debate system topic, because you have got a deep line forward, or you could also use a false nine. I would argue a false nine would probably be more realistic to match his style, but purely to get results and actually, make sure this tactic performs the best it can, I settle for a deep line forward on support, shoot more often, hold up the ball, take more risks and move into channels. Now, if you want to go 100% replicated, I would probably advise having a false nine, but I just think the deep line forward works a little bit better in the game. You get better results, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to get you guys to get, get some really good results, have a ton of fun and report back with, the outcomes of your saves. But that is going to be this tactic broken down. If you want to save yourself a bit of time, you can download this tactic from the FM Scout website. It will be the first tactic on there when you go on there. But that is going to be it for me today, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. If you have, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay in touch, guys, by turning on notifications, because there's a lot more videos going to be posted now. We're talking like 5 to 6 a week, plus live streams. So get involved, get the notification bell on, because you do not want to miss out.